Yeah.
Then I read where when we had our museum curator, he said, although you went better, Glenn Miller even played here at one time. And you don't get any bigger than that,
That's
do you?
good, yeah.
So
Right.
anyway, so that made life here jumping, booming, crazy.
Great place to live.
Oh, it was.
Next to a dance hall, a hotel, and a bunch of cottages. So what about the fort? Who restored the fort?
Well, now, have you been up to that big fort?
The Fort Boonesborough?
Yes.
We were there years ago and walked around it.
But down here where this rock enclosure is where they say the real fort was.
Oh, it wasn't
that's
even
a fake.
there.
That's fake.
That
Well, I
one
didn't know
up there
that.
was put in here.
I don't even
long
wanna go there
after
now.
It became a state park. Okay, so we're going to say, go down there and handle this, you all. So we met down here in a big pavilion, and the things that we showed the powers that be, they were going to put brochures and through him. We said, let us put it back, just like. And so help me, they let us, and they said we beat Whitehall State Shrine getting the original furniture back.
Wow.
It was amazing because we all wanted this back.
Yes.
This is where the grandchildren and the greats grew up.
That's awesome.
She won one of the big Charleston contests down here on the resort, and my father said, Alice, you won it because you were the only entrant. Well, that started a family fight.
The only what?
A family fight.
The only what?
Entry.
Entry.
That's right. Look here, the clock came home. Think of all the sons and all that man had. One of them gave him the ship in the bottle. And here's the village behind it. Do you know how they do this, fellas? They open this up and take a big pair of tweezers with glue, and they set all this together and make that. And here's the little town behind it, see? Mercy me. Oh, the blue girl came home. We never found the blue boy. But look over here. When the cabinet came home, this was called the Boonesborough Library. So we told all the kids, you look for books. I know this was full. So some of them would find in the attic an old box of dusty books, which they would have loved to have thrown away, and they opened them up and it had Martha Walters, 1930-something, or it had the Boonesborough Library. And so help me, Hannah, what we got back, but we didn't fill it, but these are original books.
Wow.
And the oldest one in here was inscribed to my grandfather in 1927 or 28 or something like that. And now my mother was the only one who lived to see the houses saved and become a museum out of all her family and all her cousins. On opening day, 2002, here she is out here on the porch, and she had been born 90 years before when they were down in the Lockmaster in the system. And now Alice, she had the high soprano. She sang on a lot of the radios. And I used to sort of accompany her a little bit, so she left me crates of her sheet music. So we even have some of the original sheet music back. Wow. Now look here. It says don't take pictures. So what you do is, when it said don't touch, but I'm handing them to you, just don't get out and show it around.
I won't.
Okay, now, he's going to tell you about this. This is 1946. He said the Corps of Engineers was giving this dinner dance at the Alms Hotel in Cincinnati. So he tells how he and Alice here and the son Jay started up north till we met the daughter of the Fisher woman and her husband Jimmy, the one with all that. They stopped in Silver Grove and got this granddaughter, so they all had a dance partner. Off they went. He said there was a large crowd there and everybody was having a grand time. John Winthrow was the master of ceremonies, and they were called upon the stage to be recognized as the longest-serving corpsman and family still on active duty. This line right here said, and he had a photographer take her picture. The last line tells it all. And we got back at Ruby's after 2:30 in the morning, so man, they party dolled off.
Wow.
They were party dolls. Now let me move over here, please. We go into another era. as Winston Churchill said, was our finest hour, you know. He also said, when you're going through hell, keep going, so that's what we did. The youngest was Wilma here, and her portrait always hung, but this time we put her and her husband, Gene, before he shipped out. By the way, all the other uncles passed away and he was left, and we all would tease him, Gene, you're our favorite uncle. He said, well, at least we know now who's next to go, don't we? Now, my cat here always hung here, so we put her back. Look at this. John Adams Walters Jr. holding John Adams Walters III before he shipped out. We have some of his gear upstairs and a V-mail from England.
Nice.
V-mail.
That's what they used to call
V for victory.
the mail from.
Before email, fellas.
They had V-mail.
V and anything to keep our morale going, because we sure needed it. Oh, the table came home, and when they did get electricity, here was one. And my mother said, hallelujah. She said, I got to quit cleaning those old coal lamps. Now, this one were the Fisher people that you know, aunt and uncle.
Yeah, with the fish.
Yeah. They lived in Cincinnati. They had no children. She was working in a defense plant. And Jimmy was, well, he's finished or going basic or something there. Well, anyway, he would have spent every hour he could, as I told y'all, if she'd let him. One of the diaries said, Ruby called this evening and said Jimmy has 7 or so many days before he's deployed. And he wants to come here and spend it. He'll be in Richmond tonight on the 10 o'clock train. Somebody go get him. So the diary tells who went and got Jimmy. They brought him back and regaled him all week. They had breakfast on the beach, which is a saga within itself. And they had people in fish fries. She got here by train the next weekend. And bless his heart, he had all this stuff. Look here.
Oh.
And now he was shipped above Japan in the India area. Of course, we was all over the world, and those, you know.
He made it back okay?
Yes, he did. He made it back fine. Okay. It's Christmas Day, 1944, and my grandfather is lamenting. My grandmother had died in 40, so she was gone. Now, his only son is overseas, and these sons-in-law. So here he is sort of lamenting. And he says, it's Christmas Day, the nativity of the Savior, when peace and goodwill should prevail on earth. Instead, the whole world almost is engaged in the greatest war this country ever fought in. They're dying by the hundreds every day or something so we can. And then he goes on later to say, God speed the day when peace comes and they can all come back home.
Oh.
So.
What a horrible time.
Now, on May the 8th, 45, Eisenhower met with Hitler's successor, and they signed the big end of the war back. Then in August of 45, Truman dropped 2 bombs on Japan, big ones. He caught Hail Columbia later by some people who said all the horror he had put on the citizens. But he saved tens and thousands of American lives, you know, because those people fought to the death. You know, kamikaze and everything else. And so that remains anyway. But anyway, after that, look what he wrote, 1945, August the 14th, big letters, oh, happy days.
Oh, great.
And he sits down in very detail, tells how the president came on the radio at 6 o'clock and told about dropping the bomb, the great atomic bomb on Japan, brought her to her knees, and she surrendered unconditionally. And so he told all that in great detail. Now, all these years during the war, all those thousands were no longer at Boonesborough.
Oh.
All the men were working at war, and we women were canning everything. You know, we had to send everything to the soldiers. But after that, there were two men going to run Boonesborough, and they sent out the word, we are going to have a celebration here. Boonesborough is back, and you have never seen such a celebration.
Wow.
So they said the next big holiday, when most of the soldiers would be back home, you know, from the jungles to Iceland, we were all over the world, would be July the 4th, 1946. So man, about 25 of the family moved in here the night before on the 3rd to get to see the big thing. And we just lived up the road, so we came down that morning. How old are you all? How old are you?
11.
11. And how old are you?
11.
Well, my gosh, you're both 11. I might have been about your age. I'm thinking, don't put me down. Well, anyway, we came down in our group of grandchildren. They gave us an old quilt and peanut butter and crackers and sent us up here on that hill so we could look down and see it all happen. All that junk wasn't up there. Well, they were coming in by the hundreds. They were coming in on horseback. There were an old truck with no fenders, and it was pulling a wagon. It was full of people. There was a farm truck that had the racks on the side, cow dung still all over it, and it was full of people. They were going to get here one way or the other. Then there were hammering going on. And all of a sudden, we heard music. And it looked up, and it was coming from the sky. And we looked up, and this little plane, it circled around us. It went all down the dam. It went all down the river, over the resort, back up over us again. And it had the ability to play, not the words, but the music to and the only one I remember was that one, cruising down the river. Well, Mary Cat ran out the door back there and said, hey kids, that's Sam Jr. Well, that was her much, much older cousin. He was flying his own plane now, so we jumped up and waved our sister cracker boxes at him, you know. And he went over and serenaded us 2 or 3 times, and then he tipped his wings and told us goodbye.
Oh.
He flew back to Lexington, and then of course he drove back. By dusk that evening, everybody started coming off the river. The bands and the dancing had been going all day long. And I have to tell you all this. I have it on tape where one cousin said they played one song. That's all they played, and they danced to one song the entire day. And you all heard of Sentimental Journey?
Yes.
It was the soldiers, I'm going home, you know. I'm going home. And that's all they did. And I have that on tape. She said, that's all they knew. They never played nothing. Well, anyway, then, by the dusk, everybody came off the beach, and people gathered here, and the people came dancing, and everybody started gathering that field. And before it was over, they were almost standing there shoulder to shoulder. And they set off fireworks that we had never seen. The big modern day, Lord, you could just hear the echoes on that valley of all those people going, ooh and ah. We'd never seen anything like that. In the war, our sugar was rationed, our lard was rationed, we were allowed 2 or 3 gallons of gas a week. And you couldn't get rubber tires. If that happened, you'd put them up because everything had to go. Well, anyway, after the big fireworks show, then we realized what on the hammer. So by then the whole family had gathered up there with us, and through the lights we could see 2 men with flares. And what they had done, the hammer, they had built a frame as large as a 2-story barn. And there were 2 men with these torches, and they got down way at this end and way at the other and simultaneously touched the frame. Well, it started billowing up in all these different colors. And finally, when it got finished, it was huge, and it was a perfect American flag.
Wow.
That crowd went wild, hallelujah, we did. Of course, everybody was patriotic then, you know.
You're right.
And, I mean, they just, you know, and then the band started playing God Bless America. And don't you think
can you imagine?
Top it out. Let me take you, go to.
Whoa.
And you know, when I first started doing, there was an old World War II vet in here, and he told me he had seen that done in other states right after the war. So it must have been.
Something that went around.
Yeah. And look what he wrote, July the 4th, 1946. Now, can you see 3,000 on the beach today? The largest crowd's been there in the last several years. They gave away a Chevrolet car and $150 in cash.
Blackberry cobbler.
And he
for
had a
dinner.
blackberry cobbler because he had picked the blackberry.
That reminds me of my grandma.
Yeah.
How precious.
Well, moving right along here, you all. Oh, let me tell you all this. I found this. Somebody said, have you read all the diaries? I said over and over. Look here, 1946, December the 30th. Oklahoma A&M beat the Wildcats of Kentucky tonight down in New Orleans.
Oh,
The Cats lost by 7 or 6 points. First game they lost.
That's
It was a
funny.
big blue nation before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even back then.
Even then. So come right along.
See how these windows open, guys? To get circulation between the rooms. Still works, I bet. They don't make things like that anymore.
This is where I wet my whistle, you all, because I lose my voice. Okay, you know what room this is? Look here. The table that's out seats 10 people. We have one leaf in it, and all the other ones are stored in there in the closet. It's over 100 years old because
Oh my
Mama
God.
told me they had bought it secondhand when they bought it.
Wow.
Beautiful.
This was our grandmother's centerpiece, and somebody had to crew it. Somebody asked us about the mirrors. We said, they belong there, the washstand. Yeah, you all met Mary Catherine in there. She ended up with her mother's 2 sets of good dishes. When she passed away, her daughter, honey, look what she sent back. Her
Oh,
paradise and Indian tree. Look over here.
beautiful.
Look.
Oh, wow. The whole set.
Now, you all heard about the big depression, the crash of 29, I think it is. You know, everybody lost jobs. And I can remember hobos coming to the door, and Mother always fed everybody. They traveled by trains and boxcars, whole families, hunting jobs. They're pitiful. Children sitting there with their eyes something worse than mine. And that was a bad time. But there was so much work here to do. From the road to the river and here to the end, they kept the grass cut with those big scythes. And that out there, I'll show you, I have a piece to show you what manually hard work that was to walk through before they had it, you know. So anyway, they had the most loving relationship because he tried so much to always help them. They moved a whole bunch of them back into it. And he called them his boys because he just had the one. And they all called him Dad. I didn't hear this banter, but some of the hands told me about it. He got them all around this table one time, and he said, boys, the devil owed me a debt, and he paid me off in sons. Some of them found this, one of them or something, found this little plaque. And it was bigger than a postcard, but it was bigger. It was a wooden plaque, and it sat on his desk. They sneaked. And the preacher came and had to hide it, but anyway, it said, my in-laws, meaning the sons-in-law, and he didn't know they included. He said, my in-laws are rodents in human guise. They eat me out of cakes and pies. Or hill and dale and valley and ruts. They come for dinner. I hate their guts.
Oh!
They had more fun.
He was a poet.
Well, no, that was just what was written on the plaque.
Oh.
On his desk.
He didn't know they had done it, but they bantered, see that?
That's great.
Now, but let me tell you something. This son-in-law right here, he always said, now, Dad, when the time comes, and when you retire, you take your toys and leave, because the house belongs to the government. He said, I'm going to make sure we always have a family home. Now, he didn't mean his family, he meant the in-laws.
Oh.
Because they all came here. And, well, Dad did not see that, because it happened a little while later. But he and my aunt came in from the bowling room, and he said, we need to start looking. We looked at things that were advertised for sale through the county and in Richmond, which is 10 miles away. There was this lovely 2-story brick house on Sunset Avenue. And it had this big side patio with columns and everything. And on the front door, it had a brass plaque called Rebel Hall. And Stanley looked, I think he was for, he said, "Girls, what you think?" And we all said, "This is it." He sat down at the kitchen table, because the owners were still living there. And he wrote the check for that house, and people are still my family to this day.
Wow.
Now, that's when they said, "Marry me, marry my family," they did it voluntarily.
And that's in Richmond?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Now, here's just, say a typical Sunday afternoon after church, which was a given in those days. And
What church did you guys go to?
Mount Pleasant Christian is in there on the piano.
Still
Built in 1849. We still go there.
Still there? Wow, that's
I know
great.
my sister and I were there they went there in the early 30s. He started going there when they finally got a car and could drive see. They used to go down and row the boat up the river to the Ford Church. And then when they got a car, see, they just went on up here.
Wow.
But anyway, that's a typical, after
Church, family, dinner.
yeah. And anyway, now, I'm going to tell you, I didn't say nothing till we go upstairs.
Okay.
And here's what our beach. Look here, they used to have all that white sand beach.
Neat.
Can you see here?
Yeah, I peeked around. Nice.
Well, okay. Okay, now we're going upstairs.
I love these old light switches.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Push button. Oh, my God.
Now there's a bug there, and so help me, I came down here and cleaned all this yesterday.
Golly.
Hi there. Are you looking out there? Look out there how high up you are. Come on in here, Mom. Come all the way in. You all never thought I'd live to see it when the houses were falling in. Dr. Barbara Walters from Ashland sent our grandparents' bed. This is where it
No
all
way. Wow.
Now, a cousin in Richmond had the matching dress, and his icon up there was missing. And see, her finish is brighter, but they match.
Oh, this is beautiful. The wardrobe. With the
That
drawer
was
at
called a chifforobe.
chifforobe with the drawer at the bottom. That was the closet.
Now look here.
Do they really have
This is
closets?
where this one is at.
Yeah, they got closets
That's her
too.
wooden ironing board in there.
Oh.
Can you believe we got our grandmother's wooden ironing board? Look here. You
Wow.
can lock it.
Oh.
Oh, Alice had one of those.
Jerry, our curator, said they probably got it out of an old hotel somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Sewing machine in this.
It looks
Now,
like my mom's sewing
there's a
machine.
step, a landing, and then there are stairs up in the attic.
Oh.
In the attic are these 3 alcoves, and in each of those there was a double iron bed.
Neat.
So essentially, see, they had 3 more bedrooms upstairs. And you ain't lived till you slept in one of them in the hell of summer.
Oh.
Like I did in that one time. But the story is the older girls slept upstairs. And when they went to one of the big ding-dings or dances, they knew in reason what time to come home, because see, they had to tippy-toe around their parents.
Oh.
Okay, now, look here. Excuse me, right here. This was Jay's overcoat in World War II. That thing weighs a ton.
Whoa, huh?
Well, yeah, I couldn't hardly lift it. That-
Imagine how hot.
well, yeah, the mountain. Look here, now I'm told he was a staff sergeant. I have no idea about ranks. I've had every kind of military person that you could think of in here, and not a soul could tell. They made some stabbing guesses, but not a soldier. And see, the government issued this stationery to the soldiers. And then they could microfilm because, see, this
It was blue, wasn't it?
morale for all the troops and, mail. So they wanted something that they could transport. Plus, it was called V. V for victory, and Lord knows we need all the encouragement we could have got. And I know what it's, and so I'm going to tell you this. He called all the sisters the fellas. He said, hey there, fellas. I said, what's a big idea? I said, here I have been over such and such a time. That means overseas. And not a word from you. He said, get the mouse off your back, gal. Get them right to me. Here I am working every day by your flame Clarkie. Now see, gal, what I can do for you? I'll fix you up with Clarkie when you write to me. Do y'all know who that was? He was on the same base in 1943.
Clark Gable?
He
Oh my God, I just
so
got
when he came
goosebumps.
back with Jay, tell us about Clark. He said, well, he had already done Gone with the Wind. However, we were in a world war. Now we were really working hard because now we were going to invade and was working up to D-Day. But he said once in a blue moon they could get off base. They went to a little neighbor town in a pub, and they all drank British ale together. He said Clark was just right there with his feet up. He was never anything but one of the guys, and he was just like your next door neighbor.
Nice.
So we learned about Clark. Come in here.
What a golly.
Mother picked this paper out because she said this is like much what they had when she was a girl, and this was called the girls' room. In the room, the house, the girls' room. Look at there. They were
Nice.
also the river rats. Look here, the water's going over the dam.
And they're just laying in it.
At the bottom of the dam are these big concrete ledges called the apron of the dam. Now, they never let any of us do that because that was flirting with pure death. You never knew when a tree could come over, or you never knew a boat would come over. And here's a companion picture. And there's a bunch of guys and more gals out there.
Wow. Sitting in that.
Now, have you all heard about the Bourbon Trail that the state's promoting now?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever heard the bourbon, famous one time? Old Stag of Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Old Stag, that's Stanley, the last of the old stags, and he's courting my Aunt Ethel right out here by the cistern.
Wow.
And they married, of course, and he was the one who sat down and wrote the check.
Oh, that's where he got his money.
No, well,
Bourbon.
let me tell you.
Oh, what?
His father or grandfather had decided that owning a brewery and stuff was just not right. So they sold it. But they drew royalties on the use of Old Stag. So see, they sold the brewery or the whatever you call it for the bourbon, and yet they drew royalties on it. So he drew royalties as the last of the Old Stags.
Huh.
Oh, look at the bathing beauties.
Oh.
Man, weren't they hams?
Yeah.
And look over here. The sheets are on the